6:15. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is a news edited by Lakshman Fonseca and read by J. Yogaraj. First, the headlines. The government decided to further cut government expenses. The Transport Minister says the circulating news about the Indian tour of 65 railway officials are false and fabricated. The Sri Lanka Navy seizure of 3 Indian trawlers with 12 Indian fishermen poaching in Sri Lankan waters. A former health minister is to be called in for further questioning regarding the ongoing drug scandal investigation. Yuktiya unit arrested a total of 771 suspects within the past 24-hour period. The Mahanaka Theros have called on President to implement the law against the organized groups spreading false ideologies regarding Buddhism. 2023 confirmed as world's hottest year on record. And those are the headlines. The government has decided to further cut government expenses. The Treasury Secretary K.M. Mahinda Sirivardhana has issued a circular in this regard. The government has taken this decision as a temporary solution for stabilizing the country's economy and to create a strong financial discipline in the country. The circular has been addressed to state institutions and departments including ministry secretaries, provincial and district secretaries. Salaries of the government servants, allowances, transport and office expenses have been reduced through this circular. The Treasury Secretary has clearly mentioned to control the full expenses of the government institutions. This is the third circular issued under this government to control government expenses. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena says circulating news about the Indian tour of 65 railway officials are false and fabricated. He said some media institutions have reported that 65 railway officials were scheduled to travel to India to examine 20 locomotives engines to be donated to Sri Lanka. At a media briefing held today, Minister said that some officials were sent to India to participate for a training workshop, and the training is fully funded by the Government of India. Minister added that the locomotive deal was originally announced in September 2023 and has only now been confirmed after Sri Lanka's Department of Railways sent over a team of experts to assess the vehicles and decide whether they would be appropriate for country's network. Integration of the locomotives into Sri Lanka's network will begin in February, when 2 of the vehicles will be imported over before being joined by the other 18 later this year. This news comes to you from Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
People's Bank Excelsior. Live the life you want.
The Sri Lankan Navy conducted a special operation to chase away Indian poaching trawlers from Sri Lankan waters last evening. The operation led to the seizure of 3 Indian trawlers with 12 Indian fishermen poaching in the Sri Lankan waters off the Kovilan lighthouse in Karinagar, Jaffna. The Sri Lankan Navy said that they conduct regular patrols and operations in Sri Lankan waters to curb illegal fishing practices by foreign fishing trawlers. Navy added that the Northern Naval Command deployed its fast attack craft to chase away a cluster of Indian poaching trawlers after having spotted they were engaging in illegal fishing in Sri Lankan waters on 13th January. In this operation, naval personnel held 3 Indian poaching trawlers with 12 Indian fishermen. Former Health Minister Kehale Rambakula will be called in for further questioning regarding the ongoing drug scandal investigation. The Criminal Investigation Department announced this decision after making progress in their investigation involving files related to Ministry's Additional Secretary Dr. Saman Ratnayaka. CID said both the CID and the Attorney General's Department are actively involved in uncovering the truth. CID added a former Health Minister's additional statement will be sought once the relevant investigations are complete, focusing on the questionable immunoglobulin drug transaction. A total of 771 suspects have been arrested by Security Forces personnel on drug-related charges within the past 24-hour period as a part of the ongoing island-wide anti-drug Operation Yuktiya. Meanwhile, detention orders have been secured against 23 suspects for further interrogations. Investigations have also been initiated into the illegal assets of one of the suspects. 7 drug addicts who were among the arrests have been sent for rehabilitation. Police said 26 suspects who were on the list of registered suspects of the Police Narcotics Bureau have been arrested during the special operation. The Ministry of Public Security said the narcotics taken into custody during this 24-hour window includes 192 grams of heroin, 101 grams of crystal methamphetamine ice, 27 kilograms and 255 grams of cannabis, and 23,933 cannabis plants and 10,611 narcotic pills. And that's local news.
People's Bank Excelsior, a comprehensive banking services package with a branded checkbook as well as debit and credit card exclusively for you. People's Bank Excelsior, for professionals who dare to dream.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatma.
The Mahanakatheras of all three Buddhist chapters have called on President Ranil Wickremesinghe to implement the law against the organized groups of people who were spreading false ideologies regarding Buddhism. The Mahanakatheras said that they are harming the Buddhist philosophy and its cultural values. In a joint statement addressed to the head of the state, the Mahanakatheras highlighted that it has become evident that the behavior of such individuals are trying to destroy Buddhism and no longer be considered as a mere incident. Furthermore, the Mahanakatheras have emphasized the urgent need to prepare necessary legal provisions to implement the law against such individuals trying to create social disturbances by misleading the Buddhist community.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatma.
This is Watchlight.
The Ministry of Health is implementing a supplementary measles in Sri Lanka aimed at controlling the ongoing measles outbreak. The ministry said that over 700 measles cases have been reported in the country since May 2023. The first phase immunization activity commenced on Saturday, targeting 6 to 9 months olds in 9 identified districts with high population density, including Colombo, Gampaha, Kaluthura, Galle, Mathura, Kandy, Jaffna, Kurunegala and Kalmunai. The second phase will be initiated on 20th January and extended to other age groups across the country. And that came to you in Watchlight.
Coming up, world news.
President North Korea plans to restructure its inter-Korean affairs agencies. Donald Trump ordered to pay the New York Times nearly $400,000 in legal fees. 2023 confirmed as world's hottest year on record. And those are the headlines of the world news. North Korea plans to restructure its inter-Korean affairs agencies amid shifts in policies toward South Korea. The move comes after North Korean leader Kim Jong-un said in a year-end speech that the country will redefine the South as a hostile enemy country rather than as a party to be reunited with. The ruling Workers' Party newspaper Rodong said on Saturday that the senior officials of the organization in charge of the relations with the enemy met the previous day. The newspaper said that the officials criticized South Korea for pursuing only the collapse of the North's power. Former President Donald Trump has been ordered to pay the New York Times nearly $400,000 as legal fees for a failed lawsuit. Mr. Trump's $100 million lawsuit accused the newspaper and Mr. Trump's entrenched niece, Mary Trump, of an insidious plot to obtain his tax records. A judge dismissed it last year, saying it claims fail as a matter of constitutional law. The series of articles on Mr. Trump's financial affairs won a Pulitzer Prize on Friday. New York Supreme Court Judge Robert Reed, a Democrat, ordered Mr. Trump to repay the New York Times for fees incurred by his failed legal action. The year 2023 has been confirmed as the warmest on record, driven by human-caused climate change and boosted by the natural El Nino weather event. Last year was about 1.48 centigrade warmer than the long-term average before humans started burning large amounts of fossil fuels, the EU's climate service says. And that's world news. Development news. The Prime Minister Our Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena says the steps will be taken to resolve the land ownership issues of all the people residing in the north within the next 2 months. The Prime Minister pointed out that the government has already started discussions in this regard with the District Coordinating Committee chairman, and they are working on the issue to find out the possibility of finding illegal residents and granting them permission to live in those vacated lands and issuing certificates of occupancy on the lands. And that came to you in Development News.
Moving on with sports news.
The Southern Province Badminton Association is calling applications for the Southern Province Open All-Island Badminton Championship. The championship is organized in collaboration with the Sri Lankan Badminton Association. The matches will be played during the last week of January. Interested players can submit their applications by January 15th to obtain a chance to participate in the range of competitions spanning open, senior and junior categories. And that came to you in sports.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න as වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
eBay has agreed to pay $3 million fine to resolve harassment charges against bloggers critical of the company. Executives at eBay sent live spiders and cockroaches to Ina and David Steiner, according to the court papers. The couple were targeted for producing a newsletter the employees disliked, prosecutors said. The filings said the couple had been left emotionally, psychologically and physically terrorized. The U.S. Attorney General office in the district said Jim Baugh, eBay's former senior director of safety and security, had targeted the couple for producing e-commerce bites. And that came to you in business.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න as වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Moving on to economic news, President Ranil Wickremesinghe has left for Switzerland to attend the World Economic Forum annual meeting. It is to commence on 15 January 2024, that's tomorrow, in Davos, in Switzerland. The World Economic Forum is a global platform where the world's key decision makers get together at the beginning of the year to shape the political, economic, social and environmental agendas. And that's economic news. Weather report. The Met Department says a few showers may occur in eastern province. Mainly fair weather will prevail in other areas of the island. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the Sabrekambu and central provinces and in Galle and Mathura districts during the morning hours. The sea areas off the coast extending from Colombo to Kankasinture via Puttalam and Mana and from Pottuwil to Mathura via Hambantota can be rough at times. And that was the weather report to wind up this news broadcast. Let's look at the main points once again. The government decides to further cut government expenses. Transport Minister says circulating news about the Indian tour of 65 railway officials are false and fabricated. The Sri Lankan Navy seized 3 Indian trawlers with 12 Indian fishermen poaching in Sri Lankan waters. Former Health Minister is to be called in for further questioning regarding the ongoing drug scandal investigation. Yuktiya unit arrested a total of 771 suspects within the past 24-hour period. The Mahanayaka Theros have called on President to implement the law against the organized groups spreading false ideologies regarding Buddhism. 2023 confirmed the world's hottest year on record. And with that, we conclude this evening news podcast of Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Back to Mario Vichavardhana to keep you company with the rest of the programs this Sunday evening. Over to you, Mario.